How's it going? Fox back again. It's going to be something a little bit different today. Rather than do a tutorial on a specific sound with a specific synth, I'm going to have a go at just making what I call the heart of a trance track. Just sort of an 8-bar loop, all the elements in, a couple of plucks, a couple of main leads, a bass line, a few pads, kick, all the drums and everything all in, all EQ'd how I would have it in the, as I say, as the heart of a trance track. I'll try and use different synths for all different parts, so you can hopefully learn something from all the different synths that I've got. So yeah, it's not going to be nothing too serious, so I'll try and explain as best I can as I'm going along. Sometimes I might be a bit quiet when I'm trying to work out the music theory part, because I say I've got no music training whatsoever. I just sort of bungle through it until it sounds right, which I would imagine most people do if they haven't got music training. So yeah, all I've done to give me a basic starting point is I've got some Vengeance sound packs, Trance Sensation Volume 1. I've opened up the Heavenly kit, gone into the MIDI section, I've just pinched this MIDI pluck, the main pluck, and that's what we've got here. It's in A major, I think it said. Yeah, it's in A major. Something nice and straightforward for me to use. I normally use A when I'm making stuff anyway, it's just where my hand tends to fall on the keyboard. So yeah, this is the pluck that I've got. So yeah, we'll get down to it then. I'll start with something nice and simple for the pluck. I'll probably use Sylenth just to get us started. Don't want those low elements at the bottom there. It's going to contrast with the bass line and other things like that, so I'll just delete them. Nice and simple. Always use saw waves for plucks, saw waves and sines. I do, they're the purest in my eyes. Saw waves, triangles and sines. Give it a bit of filter envelope to give it that pluckier feel. Pan the two different sides just to help give it a bit more space. Bit of overdrive again just to thicken it up. Just solo in part B now, just to use a bandpass just to hone in on certain frequencies. It just helps you find out where you want this part to sit. I normally do this on part B. Sounding good at the minute. Put an EQ8 on it, just roll off the lows. Ping pong delay, then a compressor. The compressor helps bring out the delay. I always put a compressor after a ping pong delay. Ping pong delay just helps it fill out the sound. I don't really like the delay within Sylenth or the reverb. If I've got to use anything like that, I always use an external sort of plugin. I'm going to put a tiny little bit of reverb on this as well, with our verb from Waves. I'm going to do another bit of EQing now, just a bit of mid-side EQing, just to boost the ping-pongy delays and the reverb effect we've got. Change it to side, cut the lows, whoa, cut the lows, and boost the highs. Just helps bring the ping-pong and the reverb out. You can really hear it. That's sounding good, nice simple patch. I'll save that actually. I'll call it just simple pluck. Right, let's get a kick in here now then. I'm going to go to Vengeance. Always go to Vengeance sound. Vengeance samples for pretty much everything. These Essential Club Sound packs have everything that you could ever want. Bass drums. If you go into Club Sound 3, if you've got it. So these Trance kicks are awesome. Something with a nice bit of punch, not too bassy. That one sounds good to me. I don't normally use drum rack when I'm doing trance sounds. I normally just drag and drop my drums straight into it. I find it easier for me to see what's going on. Consolidate this out to a nice 8-bar loop. Compress it slightly. I'm going to do another layer exactly the same as that pluck with a different plugin. Try and do it a little bit lower. What shall we use for this? I think I'll use blue. Rob Pappan blue. I haven't really done many tutorials with this. It's quite a lot like The delay in Blue, I absolutely love. It's loads better than a delay in Sylenth. You've got a lot of control. Try both of them two together now. Sounding good. Just them two plucks. I think I'll do a couple more drum bits now. I'll group these two together actually. Shifting down, Control G, Control R to rename. I'll name this pluck. I'm going to compress these together with a glue compressor. Done this one green for Sylenth, do this one blue. I always tend to do that so I remember what sort of plugins they are without having to look across. So yeah. Some pops going on there. Yeah, right, some other drum hits I could do with. Let's have a look again. Club sounds. Let's go for a loop actually. When my hard drive warms up. to do a simple bass line to go with this now. I'll use Massive for this. Massive is a bass monster. So yeah, you got to bear with me while I draw in something that resembles a bass line. That's in A. Right, now I'm just going to leave this running and play around with Massive until I get something that I want. nice and simple. Sidechain this to the kick. EQ it so we can hear the kick. Sorry about that, the phone went. Right, yeah. That sounded nice to me. Saying nothing too serious. What have I got? I've got a saw wave, a sine wave, and a pulse saw. All basic analog waveforms, just a little bit of envelope again, just giving it that plucky sort of riding bassline sound. I'll put a clap in with these drums now. See if we can find a nice trancey clap. Claps. That one sounds good. I'll just rename this loop. Do that sort of pasty pinky colour. This one is going to be clap. Tend to EQ stuff as I go along and compress them and stuff. It just saves time when you're doing your mix at the end. Same again, we'll compress these drums, but for my drums I normally use an SSL compressor from Waves. This one, brilliant bit of kit. It's got the analog button, which gives it a lot of warmth. That's how I want that bass. I want it to just be rumbling underneath. I don't want it to take anything away from the rest of the sounds that we're going to have going on. I'll just EQ it quick. That's quite a shiny bass as it is. Normally if I'm doing a trance like this, sometimes I'd have two bass layers, one higher than the other. But I think how this is going to sit and how the direction it's going, I think that's going to be fine on its own. So I'll call this bass. Keep that where it is. Let's create a couple more MIDI tracks for some other parts now. I think we're going to want sort of drony sort of pad going underneath everything. For pads, I am going to use, I'll go for Diva. Again, this is in A major, so if I start with an 8. think. I might change it to something else. Let's try it with a dual VCA. We'll do away with Diva. It's too much grief, even for my PC. You just get pops and clicks. Let's go for Absinthe. just put an LFO on the input gain for the wave shaper just to give it a little bit of movement. Pitch this one down 1 octave. Back the attack off a bit on this. Might get the bass notes to follow that same pattern that I did for this, see what it sounds like. I think it was A, D, then C. Bollocks. A, D, C, and it was A, B, A. I'll leave that for now. What I'd probably do is when I was doing intros and stuff for the track, I'd just use the standard A1 and then do this as like the main chorus part. But for now, we'll leave that following the rest of the sounds that we got. for some reason. Fucking assholes. Try to turn it on and off again. Typical. No virus today. I'll have to sort it out later. Fucking brilliant. Right, for now, I will copy this to FM8. Going to create another layer with FM8. God knows what's happened there. I'll have to start again. There you go. That's all I'm going to do for now. As I say, I might do another one when I get the virus sorted. I always use my virus for the supersaw sounds. For some reason, it's decided not to be picked up by Windows. But yeah, I know it's a bit different, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I hope you learnt something. If I get a lot of good feedback for this, I'll probably do a few more of these where I'm just making stuff on the fly. This is generally how I start a track. I'll try and create the main bulk of the track, messing around with different MIDI clips and different patches and stuff, and then I work backwards each way. I like to create a start and then a break and an end. Yeah, as always, remember to subscribe if you like any of my videos. It really does help. Facebook and Google Plus pages is Sound Design Tutorials. Thanks again. Cheers.